Beneath the overcast waves lies a realm so teeming with life, it is known as the Amazon of the seas. This is the broad-club cuttlefish. Over the next 14 hours, we will track this highly intelligent shapeshifter as it stalks the reef wall. And when the ocean fades into a muted teal twilight, it must conjure a breathtaking, pulsating neon spectacle just to survive the encroaching dark. It is currently 5 a.m. In the fading darkness of the early morning, a thick equatorial mist hovers above the surface. The ocean holds its breath in cool, muted blues, marking the quiet beginning of a relentless daily cycle. As a marine researcher observing the Coral Triangle, Indonesia, for over a decade, I find a profound and ancient magic in the way this ocean awakens. Long before the sun breaches the horizon, the water is alive with a quiet, stirring energy. Below, soft early dawn light slowly penetrates the dark water column. There are no harsh directional shadows yet, only the gentle wash of shifting tidal currents flowing over massive Gorgonian sea fans. The indigenous Bajau sea nomads have synchronized their culture to these ancient rhythms. Knowing this transition from night to day sets in motion a delicate ballet of survival within the benthic ecosystem. Out of the dim blue twilight, a magnificent silhouette materializes. The spotted eagle ray, with its vast wingspan, glides effortlessly along the sheer vertical drop-off, a gentle giant patrolling the boundaries of the abyss. Following the edge of the reef wall, we find the true rulers of this landscape. The broad-club cuttlefish is already awake, hovering with absolute precision over a pristine expanse of sponge gardens. It is an animal of terrifying intelligence and hypnotic beauty, adjusting its W-shaped pupil to take in every detail of the waking reef. In these sprawling sponge gardens, a peaceful hawksbill turtle drifts lazily. Resting upon a massive sponge is the reef octopus, uncoiling a single tentacle to taste the morning currents. Moving with liquid grace, it descends into the intricate coral architecture. Along the flats, a sleek black-tip reef shark cruises past, commanding respect. Yet, inches below, a bonded pair of mandarin fish rises in a beautiful morning courtship dance. Nearby, a ribbon eel extends its bright blue and yellow body from its deep sandy burrow, capturing plankton. Further along, the highly venomous banded sea crate navigates the reef before ascending straight upward to draw a vital breath of morning air. It is now 7:45 in the morning. The sun has fully breached the horizon, scattering the cool shadows of dawn. The ocean is bathed in a bright, unforgiving light, transforming the reef into a frantic theater of survival. Wedged tightly against a massive sponge, the frogfish relies entirely on camouflage. Sacrificing its ability to swim efficiently, it awkwardly steps across the reef using modified fins, unfurling a tiny worm-like lure. In the gentle sway of nearby seagrass beds, the ghost pipefish relies on absolute stillness to survive, mimicking a decaying blade of grass. Close by, crawling at a steady pace, is a vibrant nudibranch, twitching its sensitive rhinophorus to chemically taste the water. But the most astonishing feat of miniaturization lies deeper. Holding tightly to the host coral with a microscopic prehensile tail is the Pygmy Seahorse. Covered in intricate calcified bumps, it rotates its tiny eyes independently, searching the morning currents. By mid-morning, the sandy rubble plains become a theater for bizarre inhabitants. Ambling awkwardly across the ocean floor is the flamboyant cuttlefish. When threatened, it pauses to rhythmically strobe vibrant bands across its mantle, a mesmerizing warning of lethal neurotoxins. Not far away, the peculiar orangutan crab meticulously picks invisible algae from a bubble coral. Suddenly, a small patch of sand violently shifts. Powerfully pushing away a heavy coral barricade, the mantis shrimp emerges. Displaying intensely vibrant armored plating, it unleashes a strike with its folded club appendages. The blow lands with the velocity of a bullet, shattering the shell of a snail instantly. Along the exposed sandy plains, the Mimic Octopus seamlessly takes on the distinct shape of a toxic flatfish to safely cross. Deeper along the reef wall, the rare wonder pus flows like liquid. Flaring its webbed tentacles into an inescapable umbrella to trap a crab. The equatorial sun sits directly overhead, flooding the shallow waters with a blinding, shadowless glare. As the ocean quickly warms, the frantic energy of the coral reef comes to a sudden stop, forcing the entire ecosystem into a quiet, midday sleep. Despite mimicking the vibrant colors of this sponge garden to hide from predators above, the broad-club cuttlefish is entirely colorblind. It navigates this vivid world entirely through polarized light and the texture of the reef. This paradox is a remarkable testament to cephalopod intelligence, processing a world of color it cannot physically see. This midday rest is a period of profound lethargy and vital energy conservation. To escape the warming surface waters, a massive green sea turtle angles downward into the cooler depths. The highly intelligent cephalopods must find ultimate protection. The reef octopus squeezes its liquid-like body deep into the hollow cavity of a towering sponge, completely invisible. Nearby, The broad-club cuttlefish retreats into the dark shadow of a massive coral overhang, gently undulating its skirt-like fin in the gloom. The venomous banded sea crate coils its striped body into a secure knot upon the cool, sandy bottom. On the pink Gorgonian sea fans, the Pygmy Seahorse shifts to the deeply shaded side of the branch, closing its eyes. Even the flamboyant cuttlefish seeks respite, dropping its vivid warning colors and transforming its mantle into a dull brown lump. On the flat, sandy expanses, the highly venomous blue-ringed octopus squeezes backward into a discarded clamshell, burying itself almost entirely. The industrious mantis shrimp laboriously rolls a piece of dead coral rock to block its burrow entrance, leaving only its swiveling eyes active in the pitch-black tunnel. For nearly 3 hours, the coral reef lies in a state of suspended animation. The frogfish remains wedged between sponges. The wonderpus withdraws into a dark cavern. And the mandarin fish hovers motionless in the darkest recesses of the rubble. It is 2:30 in the afternoon. The fierce midday heat finally begins to break. As the thermal currents cool and diffuse the glaring sunlight, a silent alarm rings across the ocean floor. the second hunt of the day is about to begin. As the sun begins its long descent, the ocean is bathed in fading daylight. Sensing this thermal shift, the reef begins its great awakening. Inside the massive barrel sponge, the reef octopus slowly uncurls its suckered tentacles, sliding completely out to rest on the exterior rim. In an instant, it shifts its skin texture from a bumpy camouflage to a sleek reddish-brown, prepared for action. The frogfish awkwardly lifts its heavy body on its leg-like fins. Massive yawns stretching its jaw muscles before delicately unfurling its fishing lure once more. The orangutan crab vigorously plucks invisible plankton from the water column. In the Gorgonian forest, the Pygmy Seahorse untangles its tail, rapidly snapping its tubular mouth to suck in a passing crustacean. On the sandy bottom, the mantis shrimp powerfully pushes the coral barricade away, rapidly flexing the complex joints of its deadly striking clubs. The wonderpus uncoils its striped arms from around its face, extending its eye stalks upward before instantly throwing its webbed tentacles over a small coral head to trap a hiding crab. The blue-ringed octopus clears the sand, burying its shell, flashing bright, iridescent blue warning rings as the shadow of a passing blacktip reef shark sweeps overhead, then smoothly pounces on a small hermit crab. Meanwhile, a brilliant cuttlefish emerged from its hiding place at midday, shifting its colors into rapidly pulsing streaks of pink and bright yellow to snatch a small shrimp. As the afternoon gracefully wanes into evening, the broad-club cuttlefish emerges from its shaded overhang. Majestically hovering above the vibrant sponge gardens, it surveys the reef edge with absolute authority. Expanding its W-shaped pupil, it relies on millions of pigment-filled sacs in its skin, known as chromatophores. Spotting a school of small fish, the cuttlefish violently pulses rapid waves of stark black and white zebra stripes across its entire body, a hypnotic display designed to completely disorient its target. Raising its central arms in an intimidating V-shaped threat posture, it powerfully contracts its siphon, shooting forward at astonishing speed. It flawlessly executes a lightning-fast strike, successfully snatching a large reef fish, ending the day as the undisputed apex predator of the invertebrate world. The sun dips low, painting the reef in dusty, muted tones. This signals the most perilous transition of the day, as weary diurnal prey collides with fresh, nocturnal predators. The black-tip reef sharks dramatically increase the pace of their patrols. The banded sea crate actively slithers out of its resting knot, searching for sleeping fish. As a researcher, watching this daily transition reminds me of the ancient resilience of this ecosystem. These creatures don't need our preaching or grand speeches about climate change. They simply demand our profound respect and an undisturbed environment so these biological rhythms, perfectly honed over millennia, can continue uninterrupted. As the ocean dims, a majestic spotted eagle ray banks slowly into the fading light, casting long shadows. Deep within the coral branches, the tiny Pygmy Seahorse delicately aligns itself with the dark silhouette of the coral stalk, remaining absolutely still. On the rubble floor, the mantis shrimp races against the dying light. It is dragging a heavy coral block across the entrance, completely sealing itself in for the extremely dangerous night ahead. Blue-Ringed Octopus smoothly glides over the darkening reef to flush out a sleeping crab, vanishing perfectly into the shadows to feed in peace. The highly toxic Flamboyant Cuttlefish retracts its walking tentacles, rapidly shutting off its warning colors to transform back into a dull, muddy brown clump, completely indistinguishable from a lifeless rock. In the final moments of the twilight, as the clock approaches 7 in the evening, the broad-club cuttlefish hovers near the very edge of the sheer vertical drop-off. Perfectly silhouetted against the abyss, it surveys its domain one last time. As the light fades entirely, it spectacularly flashes brilliant, pulsating neon colors across its entire mantle in one final, breathtaking display of its unparalleled intelligence and absolute mastery of its physical form. Rapidly dissolving its vivid neon colors, it mimics the exact muddy brown texture of the dead coral rubble beneath it, becoming completely indistinguishable from the sea floor as a gentle hawksbill turtle rests nearby. The ocean fully dims into a pitch-black, muted teal twilight. Life endures, patiently waiting for the dawn to awaken once more. As our cuttlefish vanishes into the rubble, the daytime reef falls into a silent sleep. But just beyond this vertical drop-off, plunging thousands of feet into the freezing, pitch-black abyss, an entirely different ecosystem of bioluminescent monsters is just waking up.